So that's the broad topic here, and we'll have a look at the question together. In order to solve traffic problems, governments should tax private car owners heavily and use the money to improve public transportation. What are the advantages and disadvantages of such a solution? Okay, so we have a advantages and disadvantages type of question here. So we're going to talk about the benefits in one paragraph, and then we're going to talk about the drawbacks in another paragraph. So what are we thinking about here? The advantages of taxing private car owners heavily and using this money to improve public transport. So we're looking at all the good things about that and potential downsides to that. All right then, so let's go into our plan. Now our plan is so important to keep us on track, keep us focused, and we all have moments in exams where our minds might wander a little bit. So a plan helps us keep to the task. We only have 40 minutes, so it's not that long. So we want to make sure that we are putting everything in that we want to, and a plan will help us do that. Alrighty, so advantages, we can start with them, of taxing private car owners heavily and using the money to improve public transportation. Well, the advantage that's coming to my mind straight away is the fact that there'll be less cars on the road. So this will lead to it will benefit the environment. We can talk about that. And we can also talk about how previous car owners, if they perhaps move to public transport, they might save money, which is another benefit as well. So less cars on the road, and then we'll develop those 2 points with those examples. Those are the biggest advantages that are coming to my mind. Maybe we can go back if we think of any more, but how about we go to the advantage? Oh, let me just put advantages and then disadvantages here so we know what we're talking about. So, disadvantages of taxing private car owners heavily and putting this money into transportation. Well, if you are still a car owner, then this will put you at a disadvantage financially. Disadvantage. So some people, their car is very integral. Perhaps you live in the countryside and the only way to get around is through a car. So sometimes this is unavoidable, and therefore these people will be put at a disadvantage. Okay, so that's the one route we can go down. Another thought that I'm thinking is, well, if everybody's using public transport, then this will maybe increase commuting times. Commuting times. And there might be delays. I mean, there are delays anyway. In the UK, there are strikes. So more people will be affected from these situations, and it might become quite inconvenient. But perhaps it depends how the public transport will be improved. So that might improve this area, but we'll lay these out anyway as potential disadvantages. Okay, so conclusion then. Um, well, we're just going to lay out the advantages and disadvantages. We're not being asked for our opinion here. So the conclusion, we're just going to restate that there are few advantages and disadvantages. Of course, in the write-up that we'll do, we'll restate some examples from the essay itself, but that will just, yes, keep us on track there. Okay then, so we have our plan. So now we are ready to go to our write-up. And you might be thinking, oh, what's the first thing that we need to do for this essay? Well, we need to paraphrase this sentence here, put it into our own words. So, in order to solve traffic problems, governments should tax private car owners heavily and use the money to improve public transportation. Right, so we could open this up with something like, it is argued that in order to solve traffic problems, to enable countries to reduce congestion on the roads, among other issues on the roads, governments should tax private car owners heavily. It's difficult we don't need to paraphrase every word, so we could say something like, we can say governments. Yes, governments should tax private car owners. Should raise the costs of owning a car, costs of owning a vehicle. In turn, this money or this maybe surplus can be or would be used to see positive changes within public transport. Let's have a read of this back and see how it sounds. It is argued that to enable countries to reduce, so we've already repeated ourselves here, 2 and 2. It is argued that it is argued that to enable countries, maybe we could rephrase this. It is argued that to reduce congestion and other issues on the roads, it's argued that in order to reduce congestion and other issues on the roads, governments should raise the costs of owning a vehicle. In turn, this surplus would be used to enact, maybe, would be used to enact positive changes within the public transport systems, maybe. Okay, so that is putting our sentence, this one here, into our own words as much as possible, with still keeping the meaning though, so we're not straying too far away from the meaning of this. Okay, so what are we going to do in our essay? We want to lay this out to state what we're going to, how to structure it. This essay will explore the benefits and also the drawbacks of such a maybe of such a suggestion, or of this point of view. This essay will explore the benefits and also the drawbacks of this point of view. Okay then, so we've set up our essay and now we can start with our advantages here. So we're going to do a topic sentence just to state what we are arguing in this paragraph. So we could say, higher prices for running motor cars, or higher prices for running and maintaining, or for owning. Higher prices for having motor cars would indeed lead to some advantages when it comes to the environment. Let's lay out what we're going to write. The environment and public transport users. Maybe we'll just stick to the environment and go from there. Some sets of advantages when it comes to the environment. So let's talk about less cars on the road, less pollution, and we can use a few examples there. We could say something like, this situation would no doubt motivate many individuals to stop owning a car if it is not entirely necessary, maybe. Therefore, with less cars or less engines on the road, less CO2 will be produced, and carbon footprints will be lowered. Now, we need to be careful here because we don't want to go off topic. So we're not talking about the environment on its own. We want to link it in with, well, actually, governments are wanting to solve traffic problems. So how will this actually help towards the traffic? Well, we can say that we can link this with, well, this situation is getting better, less money might need to be focused on the environment, and then even more money can be used to help public transport. So by default, helping or less by default improving the environmental situation would free up, even we can say, or would allow for even more public money to be saved and invested, to be saved and invested in the public services such as buses, trains, and buses. I'll just say buses and trains. Okay, so maybe we want to link this in. Let's just tie this all together. So extensive advantages when it comes to the environment, and as a result, these positively affect these will positively affect spending on public transport. So in other words, less money will be devoted to the environment because we're helping solve that, or not solve, but reduce that issue anyway. So therefore more money can be put into public services, and this will no doubt solve some of the traffic problems. Okay, so we could say a combination of improved, now we're going on to our next point, of improved transport across countries and higher rates for automobile owners, or owners. We could talk about, we didn't mention this before, but just another point is people driving for fun might be dissuaded to another, or would see or maybe a consequence of a combination of improved transport across countries and higher rates for automobile owners would be a reduced amount of people just driving for fun or leisure. Undoubtedly, and we're checking our spelling as we're going along and making sure that that's all okay. This combination of benefits would contribute to a safer, or to a less problematic traffic situation. So there's more money to be spent on public transport, so more more people are encouraged to use it, because we're helping with the environment, so that's going towards more money for other areas. And higher costs would lead to less people just driving for fun, for example. Okay, let's read this back and see how it sounds. Higher prices for having motor cars would indeed lead to some extensive advantages when it comes to the environment, and as a result, these will positively affect spending on public transport. This situation would no doubt motivate many individuals to stop owning a car if it is not entirely necessary. Therefore, with less engines on the road, less CO2 will be produced and carbon footprints will be lowered. By default, improving the environmental situation would allow for even more public money to be saved and invested in the public services, such as buses and trains. A consequence of a combination of improved transport across, maybe we can just say improved transport, and higher rates for automobile owners would be a reduced amount of people just driving for fun and leisure. Undoubtedly, this combination of benefits would contribute to a less problematic traffic situation. Okay, so those are our advantages laid out. Now we're going to go into our disadvantages of this situation. What comes with the positives also brings to light some negatives. So we're just opening this up, linking this. What are we going to talk about? The main one would be less convenience and increasing commuting time on the public transport system. So we go from having problematic situations on the roads to problematic situations still, but through public transport. So while the private car situation might lessen, the traffic issues might with other forms of vehicles such as buses, the traffic issues with other forms of vehicles such as buses might worsen. Let's talk about why. So individuals being financially driven to use this form, to use these systems, they might become overused, or they might become used past capacity. This can be seen in many cities across the world where the metros and subways at rush hour are in fact dangerous, or can be uncomfortable and even dangerous. Okay, so we've got an example there about how, well, we're just creating another problem if not enough is being done to improve the public transport. Any other problems? We've got less people buying cars, and this could in fact affect the manufacturers. Another issue that could arise is with the manufacturers, with the car manufacturers suffering with less interest in owning a car or a vehicle due to the expense. We could also do a line to say that if families need a car, then this will really create a problem for them. Additionally, if a car or if some sort of private transport is essential for families, perhaps in the countryside, this could really be detrimental to their quality of life as the costs would be maybe perhaps in the countryside, this could be detrimental to their income and expenditure. Okay, let's read this back and have a think about how it sounds. What comes with the positives also brings to light some negatives. While the private car situation might maybe improve or maybe while less private cars would mean, in theory, less problems. Traffic issues with other forms of vehicles such as buses might worsen. With individuals being financially driven to use these systems, they might become used past capacity. They might go over capacity. This can be seen in many cities across the world where the metros and subways at rush hour can be uncomfortable and even dangerous. Another issue that could arise is with the car manufacturers suffering with less interest in owning a vehicle due to the expense. You know what? I think that example, we can just do that. I think this second example is more effective, actually. Additionally, if some sort of private transport is essential for families, perhaps in the countryside, this could be detrimental to their income and expenditure. That's put with the current cost of living crisis. This could be detrimental to their expenditure. Yeah, okay. So we've just gone back, edited, made sure it sounds okay. Now let's tie this up with a conclusion. So in conclusion, there are benefits to raising the taxes of private car owners. For example, the savings or the improving environmental situation would lead to more money for the public transport sector. However, on the other hand, this could create and this could not resolve and This could create some traffic problems in other areas. Therefore, not solving problem. Okay then, so that is our essay today. Let's see how many words this is. So we're looking for 250 minimum. Okay, so this has come to 338 words. So quite a bit over the 250 word limit, but at least you've seen the structure that we're doing here. So you can replicate that yourself either at home or in your practice time if you're doing some independent study. So we've had our advantages and our disadvantages, and of course our introduction and conclusion. Okay, so let's now go into